Alright folks, just a quick one. I'm doing some riveting at the minute, so I thought I would try and go through a little bit of what I do. As people keep asking us, and it's quite hard to explain sometimes. I'm not a riveter, I'm not an iron worker, I'm nothing like that. This is just sort of what I do to do the job. I'm halfway through as it happens, so if we can turn my camera around, hopefully. As you can see, I can't really touch some of these are looking pretty okay at the minute. So basically all I'll do is I'll offer the plate up to the carrier, and these rivets today are 3/8 mild steel. And you can see, let's try and explain how to do this back to front. Here's an example of where getting the setting allowance wrong and you end up with too much material. So what's happened here is the rivet's going to form onto the plate, but because there's too much material left, it's squidged out the back of the snap as I've compressed it, and that's why I've got this. So that rivet's going to have to come back out. I don't think I've got any. I've got some here. Pre-drilled these holes already, and as you can see, I've just countersunk them just freehand. It should not be special, much like they did back in the day, to be honest. So what we'll do is, with these holes that haven't been countersunk, I'll hit them with a countersinker. We'll get the bolts out. We'll hopefully get some more fired in, and then you can have a look at the end result. But that's how I do what I do. Okay, another thing I also get asked about a lot is tooling. It's still on. All right. This, in essence, is what I'll refer to as a snap. There's probably other names for them. I'll refer to them as a snap. It's a 3/8 shank, and I machine my own heads in them. The steel is EN 24T. It's tool steel, which I machine on my little hobby lathe over there. Excuse me, it's filthy, but never mind. Machine it on there. Then what I do is they are heated up and quenched, and then they are tempered in an oven at about 200 degrees C for about 4 or 5 hours. It just seems to work. I don't know whether that's right or wrong, but that's what I do. These snaps have got quite a bit of mileage on them now. I've done 3 or 4 carriers worth. So that's the truss head, 3/8 truss on Liverpool for the outside of the carrier. That's 3/8 button. And that's a 5/16 button. And that one is, it's actually broken now, but it's like a moil point. Sometimes if you make a mistake, which we'll have earlier, it's just easier to have this in the gun so you can punch the rivet tail back out of the armour without causing much problems. So what we'll do is we'll polish off the head so you can see the stem and then push it through. And if I can show you how to do that, then I will. Gun wise, people tend to go sort of overboard with this, but for me, I've got a very, very old Chicago pneumatics. I think it's a 4x arrow riveter. Here we go. Yep, number 4 arrow riveter. It's a small gun with a 3/8 throat. This thing is as old as Moses, and it's still going. It's been rebuilt a few times. It's going. It just works. Sure, bigger guns will put them in a lot easier, but you've got a bit more of a fight in your hand. This is a bit more manageable if you've never done it before. Glove wise, these are probably not the best gloves to use, but I use them because they're the only ones I've got. Then we take gloves. They're not really ideal for dealing with molten metal, but if you're careful and watch what you're doing, I get by. You need some anti-vox and probably some of these, at the very least a visor. Other than that, I'm wearing jeans, your leather apron, and I've got long sleeves on, and that's just what we do. So there we go. Before I forget, actually, countersinking. I use this as Maystag. It's 90 degrees, and they're good. You can probably get probably a carrier's worth out of them if you're careful. If you use plenty of cutting fluid and don't go hammer and tongs, you can probably get an entire carrier's worth out of one bit. But what I've been finding is any laser cut plate such as this, wherever there's a hole which has been lasered out, you find it hardens the steel. So you sometimes have to run through with, like, for argument's sake, that's 10 mil. You'd have to run through with maybe 10.1, and that just takes the hardened edge off before you start putting in the Maestag tool, otherwise it just kills it. The other ones are super cheapo, but it works. This is just a screw fix special. It's not even designed for steel really. It's it's aluminium, wood, plastic, but it gets you by. If you're on a budget, it does what needs to be done. So we're at the point now where I'm waiting for my eldest son to come back in. He's on a phone call at the minute, and we can get these last rivets fired in, and we'll get that one removed. These ones you can see where I've had to heat them in the plate. This isn't ideal. Basically what's happened there is where the block person, the person on the back, in this case, person holding this, which is a very rickety bit of steel with a 3/8 button on the back, unless someone's on the back pushing with a bit of sort of effort, it's very easy for the gun to overpower that person. And what happens is you push the rivet back through the plate, and then it starts to form the head, and you don't have enough tail to form the job properly. Really what should happen is, I would imagine, you would cut them out and do them again, but me being me, I've just fired the rivets back in from the inside, heated them back up to cherry red, put the block back on, and had a second stab at them. But that's why you can see the it's burnt around there. It is what it is. It's a learning process. Don't be frightened to make mistakes. As I say, I'm by no means an expert. I mean, you can see from the rivets that I've got some of these too hot, but it's not a boiler. I'm not doing a boiler, anything like that. So you can see I've caught the plate there. It is what it is. A little bit of high build primer will disappear. Ready? Yeah. Okay. It's still nice and hot. You set? Yeah. Ready? Yep. Right, so this was the dodgy rivet that we had, and I used that to punch out the plate. So all we did was, see, it's linished off, polished it back to flush with the metal, punched it through with the gun, put a new rivet in, off you go. But as it stands, it's about an hour to do what we've done. Granted, I'd already done the prep work, but that's just the way it is. Give it a go.